Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another FRI-Q&A. Thanks again for sending in your questions again in the Artist Coaching Facebook community. So if you're listening or if you're watching this video and if you don't know what it is, it's this Facebook group, this community group where 600 plus people, it's almost 650 I guess, 650 DJs, producers, promoters, bookers, managers are gathering together to share knowledge, experiences, and get feedback on the music or whatever. But that's what they do in that group. So if you want to be a part of it, you can also send in your questions for these kind of videos, the FRI Q&As, in that group. Every Thursday you can send in the questions. So if you want to become a member of that group, head over to Facebook, search on Artist Coaching Community, and you will find the Facebook group. Click on request access and I will grant you the access to that group. So the questions this week have been sent in that group as always. And like I said, thanks again for sending in the questions. Let's dive into the first one, which is from Robin Goosen. What are the new coaches going to do in this Facebook group? That's a good one. I'm not sure what their role is going to be in this Facebook group actually. They're really busy with their own artist career, of course. We're talking about Ralph from Bassjackers and Tim from Firebeats. I'm really excited to have them on the team. We're still figuring out what their exact role is going to be, but I do know that they're mostly going to focus on the production side. So they're mostly going to do like the production sessions, the studio sessions, which is really useful, of course, because they know a lot about music production. But regarding the Facebook group, I'm not sure yet. Maybe they will anticipate here as well and participate, by the way. But like I said, I'm not sure yet. And Parker asking, I really struggled to get a professional clean sound from a track. I know about drifting channels left and right to give it space and dropping out some frequencies to give others room. But is there any other techniques that could give a track sound an uplifting helping hand? It's really hard to give an answer to this question because it's such a broad question. There's just not one answer that covers it all. So like I said, it's not just one thing. The fact that you pan things to the left and pan things to the right, or that you cut out frequencies and boost frequencies, that all sounds legit, but it's not just all those things. It's all those little things combined, including the end mastering, the professional mastering, which make that track sounds well. Another thing that you should have a look at is every sample that you use, try to listen if there's any noise in the end of the sample which you can cut out. So work as clean as possible, cut out all the noises, all the little dirt parts in your sample which you don't want to have in there, and try to work as clean as possible. I think that's the best tip I have for you here. Christian, not really a question concerning the musical development of an artist, but do you think Facebook will be blown away by Instagram? Do you think artists should focus more on their Instagram profile than their Facebook page? Okay, so is Facebook still relevant? That's like the main question. Yeah, Facebook is still relevant. Why? Because Facebook still is the biggest platform out there. It's still the biggest platform, so all of your audience, the whole of your audience is actively on Facebook. Of course, they're also active on Instagram, but mainly everyone has Facebook right now. And you mentioned that you ran some advertising. I'm not sure how you use that, but I'm not the biggest fan of advertising as an artist because it's not always really valuable, especially not in the beginning. That only gets valuable when you're already some kind of a brand, like when your brand gets bigger. But I definitely think Facebook still is important. I definitely think you still should post there. You still should be active there. But just try to focus on both channels, like also be active on Instagram. There's not just one place you have to be active. There's a lot of different places like Snapchat, maybe even Musical.ly, which is a big platform as well. Try to focus on a few platforms which matter to you and where your audience is and focus on those platforms. Thomas Gonzalez asks how to reach out to DJs to send promo songs or demos. It's very difficult to get any kind of response from DJs. That's true. And you know why? Because most of the time they don't know you. And if you get an email from someone that you don't know, why should you open it, So my advice always is to first try to set up a connection in some kind of way. Maybe just start sending them messages on Instagram, start replying on their photos, on their videos, start engaging with them on their social channels, just so that they see your name coming by every time. And after like a few months, when you've done that for a few months, then send in your demo or send them a direct message by asking like, hey, I've been following you for a while. Maybe would you like to check my demo, you know? If you do it like that, they already have some kind of idea who you are, that you're actually engaging with them for a long time, and they're more likely to listen to your song. So first try to set up a connection and then send the demo. Joe Prasoon asks, what business model and plan should we follow as an artist? How do you define initial phase and an intermediate professional phase for an artist? I'm not sure what the question is. I don't really get the question, but I think the most logical answer to me, like what kind of plan should you have as an artist? I think that's your question. What kind of plan should you have? To me, it's all about focusing on what you're capable of doing at this particular moment. It doesn't make sense to think about things that you're not capable of doing right now, because you're not capable of doing it. So start with a little thing, start with little steps. Try to break things down into smaller sizes, and which makes it doable for you. So if you create a plan, try to break things down to smaller bits and pieces, which is achievable for you at this very moment. That's the way I like to plan. That's the way how I like to work. Maybe it works for you. Try it out. What kind of problems are we facing in this music industry in terms of music? That's what Joe Prasoon asked as well. You know, I'm not sure if it's a problem, you know, because the music industry is doing really well at this moment financially. But if I have to pick one of the things, which is a personal opinion, I think there's a lack of uniqueness in the music industry. A lot of music sounds the same, and this is something that has been going on for years maybe. In my opinion, in 2018, if you want to become successful as an artist, you have to find your unique selling point. You have to find something which makes you stand out from the crowd. There's so many people who are fighting for the same spot, which makes it even harder, you know? So I would recommend spending more time on finding your unique selling point than just go with the flow, start releasing stuff that everyone else is doing as well, because it's just a waste of your time, I think. So if you ask me, my personal opinion, the biggest problem right now is a lack of uniqueness in the music industry. Xavier is asking, what do you believe is going to happen in Asia with EDM? Well, I'm not sure, because I can't really look into the future, of course, but I think it's going to be bigger than it already is. And I think that's because I just have the feeling it's just getting started there. It's a really big continent. It's a big crowd. I think it's not done yet. So could be a really interesting crowd for you to interact with. The problem is there's always this language barrier. But I already noticed some companies are working on like translating your social media and stuff. So that could be interesting to have a look into. Abdelatif asks, is it necessary to have a website? Yes, it is, in my opinion, because to me, it's the home of your brand. It's the only platform which you completely control, because Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, Snapchat, all those platforms you're active on, you're not in control. If Facebook decides to throw things around and do another thing tomorrow, you're fucked. So the only place on the internet where everything is in your own power is your own website. So I would definitely have one. Consider it as the home of your brand. It's just the home base of your brand. I would definitely have one. It's not that expensive, you know, you can buy your own one through WordPress for like a few dollars a year. But I would definitely take one. Norris asks, what's the best way to spend my money on an upcoming release promotion? Can I do something reasonable for around 200 or 300 euros when I don't have a huge following on my socials? Yeah, you definitely can. I like the websites Submit Hub and Hyped It because there's where you can send out your music to multiple blogs. You can filter in which blogs you want and which kind of like price range you want them. My advice would be go to those websites and focus on the blogs and influencers that are in the middle class. So who are actually still affordable, but still have some kind of impact on a bit smaller scale. So that means in practice, don't send it to blogs which have millions of followers because they charge you more, and the chances are pretty small that you get posted there. So I would try to take it down a notch and focus on the blogs with, let's say, 10,000 followers, 5,000 followers, 20,000 followers. And see if they're engaging, like if when they post something, how many people react to it. That's my main thing. So go to Submit Hub and Hyped It, focus on those smaller blogs and see what your best investment there is. Michiel Lepoutre, I think, asked how to release an album, which is pretty broad as well. I'm not sure. I would release it through TuneCore or DistroKid or CD Baby, if that's what you mean. But yeah, how to release an album, just go to a distributor and try to release it. But I'm not sure if that's the question that you're trying to ask. So I'm not sure. Anyway, those were the questions for this week. As mentioned before, I'm really excited to announce that there's 2 new coaches in the company. Tim from Firebeats, Rob from Bassjackers, and I'm really excited to have them on the team. Aside from that, it's great to see the artist coaching community growing every week. We're at 654 right now, pretty much. So thanks guys for being a part of it. And I'm just gonna enjoy the weekend right now. Thanks again for sending me your questions, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.